Hi everyone. So today we are going to make a easy chicken curry. So this is chicken. This is 800 grams of chicken breasts. I've washed these chicken pieces. These are boneless chicken breasts, which I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. You can cut them any way you want. I'm just going to cut them like this. Cut them like this. And then just take this and cut them into, I could just cut them into small bite-sized pieces like this. So here are the chicken pieces all cut into bite-sized pieces. Now first we would need some ginger. I've taken a small piece of ginger. This is about a 1.5 inch piece of thick piece of ginger. And I need some garlic. So I'm going to take about 3 for 800 grams of chicken. I'll take about maybe 3, 4. Let's take 5. 5? Okay, let's take 6. 6 garlic cloves of this size. Yeah, and I'm going to peel them. I've taken another chopping board. The other chopping board we use for chicken, so that's dirty. I've put it in my sink and I've taken another chopping board. This is how I peel the garlic. Just take your knife and scrape the skin off like this. So you peel the ginger. Just peel the ginger like this. That's it. Yeah, on this side there's a little bit of skin, so I'm just going to cut this portion off. I don't want this portion, so this we're going to throw. Yeah, and now this ginger, I'm going to just cut it into big pieces, and I'm just going to keep it aside here. Yeah, just cut it into pieces like this. Yeah, now we have to peel the garlic. So how I peel the garlic, there's 2 ends to it. There's a thin end and a thick end. I take the thick end off like this, and then the garlic peel just comes off. There are different ways you peel the garlic. This is how I do it. I don't like the banging method somehow. It just hurts my hand. I don't do that. I just take the thick piece off, peel it like this, and then you just open it, and there, the garlic is peeled. So now I'm going to grind this. I have a grinder here from my mixer jar, or you can use that mortar and pestle, and you can just grind them together. 4 ingredients you have to grind together. So either you can do that, or if you don't have any of this, if you don't have the grinder, you don't have a mortar and pestle, you can just chop this into very tiny pieces and straight away put it in the pan in your hot oil. I'm going to show that to you, but I have a grinder here, so I'm going to grind it. If you do not have a grinder, just chop them into really small tiny pieces and do the same thing what I'm going to do after I grind. For now, I'm just chopping them into big pieces because I'm going to put it into this grinder. I'm going to put the garlic, the ginger, and I have fennel seeds. I'm going to use a teaspoon of fennel seeds. These are fennel seeds. I have everything in packets because I'm moving my house next week, so I've not moved them into containers. This is called fennel seeds. This is how they look like. They're green. I think you can see them. It's not focusing too much. Yeah, they're green and they are they're fennel seeds. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon full of fennel seeds. Maybe a little more because my teaspoon is really small. So a little more, very little more. So a black pepper. I have crushed some black peppercorns, and I have kept them in a container. So here you have black pepper, 1 3/4. You can say 2 teaspoons of black pepper. I have not taken full 2 teaspoons, but about 1 3/4. Depends on how spicy you want your chicken curry to taste. So you have 4 ingredients here. I'm going to grind these together now. Ground them, and this is how it is. It's all mixed up like a paste. Yeah, I'm going to show you. That's how it is. It's like a paste, everything together, coarsely mixed. So let it be here. It smells very nice. Now we need to chop onions. So I've taken, my onions are not very big. We have 800 grams of chicken. So for that I've taken like about medium size 2 onions and really 3 small onions. They're not very big. So let's just quickly peel them off. This is how I peel them. You cut the 2 ends and kind of pull them like this, and then the peel comes off. There you go. Onions are peeled. Okay, all the onions are peeled. Now I just cut them into half and then slice them thinly like this. So let's slice all the onions like this. So they're all chopped. Now let's cook. This is the pan I'm going to use. Yeah, so this is the pan I'm going to use. It's a non-stick pan, which is round. It has to be a big pan because you're going to mix the chicken. So, yeah. Okay, so let's pour some oil. The pan, wait for it to become a little hot. And then I'm using olive oil here. You can use coconut oil olive oil or any oil that you prefer. Coconut oil is the best to use, the one with the smell, not the one without the smell, because you get odorless coconut oil in countries other than, India. So this is olive oil that's used for cooking. So I'm just going to use about, this would be 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Is the mix that we ground, the ginger, garlic and fennel seeds. Put the mix. I'm just using my hands are washed, clean. So I'm just putting this mix. Make sure your flame is not too high so it doesn't get burnt. At this stage, you can also add fresh curry leaves. Now, I don't have fresh curry leaves. I use these, which are dried curry leaves. They're dried and ground. So I just put a pinch of that. I don't have fresh curry leaves. If you have fresh curry leaves, you can put that. If you don't want it, you can just skip it. It doesn't matter. You can skip the curry leaves if you don't have it. So now this, the most important stage for people who are cooking this for the first time. Stir this. As soon as you put it, you're going to get very pungent smell of the ginger and of the fennel seeds. You have to keep stirring at very low flame until that pungent smell turns to a nice smell. It has to turn to a nice spices roasted smell. So you keep stirring for about maybe 5-6 minutes until that smell is nice and not very pungent. Once that happens, let's add all the onions that we chopped. These are the sliced onions. I'm going to just add them to the oil. And now we stir the onions. You can add a little salt so that the onions are sweating quickly. I'm using pink Himalayan salt here. Now we stir the onions till the onions turn a golden brown color. Now since our spice mix is also brown, it's going to take a little bit of a observation to look at your onions turning brown, because they already look brown. Be about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. The onions are slightly browned, but not as much as we want them to. It's just about pinkish if you look at it. So I'm going to add 3 green chilies. I've taken 3 small chilies. I'm going to slice them as your spice level. If you don't want 3, you can use 2, you can use 1. So I'm just going to slice them into 2, and I'm going to put them into this. So the onions, if you see, are brown. They're now sort of brown. And at this stage, you would need to do 2 things. One, if you have a kettle, boil some water, because we would need some hot boiling water. And the second thing is we need to add some spices here. I add 4 spices: turmeric, chili powder, coriander powder, and some garam masala. All 4 spices you get if you live outside of India or Pakistan. You will have it in Indian supermarkets, or if you live in any of these countries, you would get them ready to buy in the store. So first I'm going to take a teaspoon, a dry teaspoon, about half teaspoon. My teaspoon's very, very small. So about half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Keep it on the lowest of flames and add the turmeric powder on top of the onions so that they don't get burnt because of the heat in the pan. Some chili powder. This is Kashmiri chili powder, which is not spicy, so I'm going to add more of it. If you're going to add the real spicy chili powder, 1 teaspoon is enough. Since this is Kashmiri chili powder, I am adding 2.5 teaspoon of chili. It's not spicy, it just gives a red color, so I add more of it. It's called Kashmiri chili powder. Then I have coriander powder. I don't add too much of coriander powder, just about maybe 1/2 to 3/4 teaspoon. It's your coriander powder. It should be fine. Yep. So we've added 3 ingredients. That's turmeric, chili and coriander powder. There's one more, which is garam masala. I have everything in packets because, like I said, I'm moving my house, so everything is not settled yet. Here I'm using about 3/4 teaspoon of garam masala. Now this is at the lowest flame, lowest heat, and you stir all of this with the onions to roast. Same thing, when you add this, you get a very pungent spices smell. You keep stirring until all these spices are roasted. You might sneeze a couple of times because it's all spices. They need to be roasted until you get a nice spices roasted smell. The bit sticks to your spoon, which you can just take off like this and keep stirring. Make sure you're boiling some water. A kettle of water is what I boiled, because in some time you will need to add that boiling water to this for your gravy of the curry. So keep stirring. And you need 1 medium size tomato, which is red and ripe. Chop them. Medium tomato. That's 1 medium size, a large tomato is chopped and added. Now when doing this, you can add your boiling water a little bit so that the tomatoes get cooked. A little bit, not too much. Stir it. Yeah, and now you can leave this closed at a low flame so that the tomatoes get cooked. Go close it, let it cook at low flame for about 5 to 7 minutes. So this is done. How do we know it's done? When you see it bubbling, you see the oil separating. So what we can do is now add the chicken pieces into this. Increase the heat. Stir, add salt, I don't know, maybe about 2 teaspoons of salt as per your taste. Stir, add a little more of water, the boiling water, the water that you boiled. Yeah. And then stir nicely. and keep it closed for the chicken to cook. It would take about 15 to 20 minutes. Let it cook. So here now it's about 20 minutes and I've opened it. Chicken is boiling. If you see, again, you wait for the oil to separate. That's when you know that the chicken is done. It hasn't separated, so I'm going to wait a little more. So I'm going to wait a little more. Ignore the other pan there. I'm making some plantain fry. So, yeah. Wait for the oil to separate. I'm going to just close it back again and wait for it to be done. So this will take another maybe 5 minutes, not more than that. And the last step, what you need to do is a little bit, a pinch of garam masala on the top, very little, just at the end. And for 30 seconds you keep it to simmer a little and then you can switch off the flame. That would be your tasty chicken curry. Anyone who's cooking for the first time or trying out chicken curry for the first time can try cooking it this way. It's going to be very nice. It's going to taste good. You can have it with rice, bread, appam, chapati, anything. Yeah. So almost getting done. Now let's check. Now it's correct. If you can see, there's oil separated. I don't think it's catching on the video, but let me try and show you. You can see there's oil here. This you see here is all oil. This is oil. You see? The oil is always on the sides. So that's a good sign. It's time to switch it off. So I'm going to put a little bit of garam masala. I take very little, just about maybe less than 1/4 of a teaspoon, and just sprinkle it. It gives a lot of flavor. Okay. And some people drizzle some coconut oil on the top before switching it off. That gives a very good flavor. I don't have coconut oil, so I'm not going to do that. You can do that if you have some coconut oil. A teaspoon of coconut oil, just drizzle it on top and switch it off. The chicken curry is ready.